Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Ramirez Magana and I will be doing my presentation on energy production systems. The system that I will be talking about is ATP PC energy production system. This system typically lasts around 0 to 10 seconds of energy production. It is an anaerobic system, which means that oxygen is not used. The way that the system works, it starts off as glucose, and then the ATP is stored in the myosin cross bridge. When it is there, it is broken down for muscle contraction. When it is broken down, it breaks down into adenosine diphosphate, and then it leaves a phosphate by itself. After that, the phosphocreatine is broken down by the enzymes, and then that's when we get the separation of creatine and phosphate up here. Then the energy is released to break down the PC, allow the ADPT and the phosphate to rejoin in order to create more ADPT to create more energy. This energy production system is usually used in heavy lifting. So if they're going to do their the single rep like max that they can do, because they're going to need that instant energy to go into that rep, or like a 100-meter yard dash, because it's quick, short, and they only need a little bit of energy to get from point A to B because it's such a short run. Downfalls of this energy production system is that it doesn't use oxygen, so it doesn't last as long as if it was an aerobic system, which means that the person gets fatigued faster, and ultimately it's not a long-term system. The system that I am going to be talking about is the anaerobic glycolysis system. This system typically has an energy production of 10 to 60 seconds. It is an anaerobic system, which means the oxygen is not used in the system. The system works is that the stored glycogen that one does have is converted into glucose. The glucose is then broken down by the enzymes. Then it follows the 2 ATPs that are used to fuel the glycolysis, and then they create 4 more ATPs, so the body gains 2 more, and they use this for the muscular contraction. Then they go into breaking down the glucose to synthesize the ATP, which results in the pyruvate portion of this and the hydrogen ions. The muscle becomes very acidic as more hydrogen ions are created. Because this is this does not have oxygen, that means that there isn't enough oxygen to break down the pyruvate and synthesize any more, which means it results into lactate. This system is usually used when you are working out at a gym and you're doing like the 3 sets of 10 repetitions, whether it be squats or push-ups or press-ups or low rows. And in between each set, one usually has a rest period. It is also used for sprints. You could do 10 repetitions of 30 second sprints, but just remember that with this one, in order to keep going, you have to have the rest period to be able to reproduce the energy that you just output. It also works in workout classes like cycling, or like a quick interval training class. You have to do like the quick, let's say 30 seconds of the exercise, and then you're going to give yourself a rest break in between, just about 15 to 20 seconds of rest break. But usually this is more of like in the gym setting when you are working out. The energy production system that I will be talking about is the aerobic phosphorylation glycolysis system. This is an aerobic system, which means that oxygen is used to perform the workout or the training or the activity. This typically has a energy production of 1 to 2 minutes, therefore meaning that it is a long-term energy production that will help you last longer in the activity that you are doing. This system has 3 stages, as you could call them. It has the glycolysis stage, then it goes into the Krebs cycle stage, and at the end it has the electric transport chain. I will be going through each step of stages in detail. So this energy production system typically starts at the aerobic glycolysis stage, which is stage 1, which initially has the stored glycogen converted into glucose, and then the glucose is broken down by the enzymes. It has a 2 ATP, which are used to fuel the glycolysis, and which results in creating 4 more ATP, which means it gains 2 for the muscular contraction. After this, pyruvate is created as the end product of the breakdown, and oxygen is present in pyruvate. And as oxygen is present, it is converted into the acetyl coenzyme A. Then that acetyl coenzyme A can be synthesized in the second and third stages in order to create more ATP, which means the more ATP, the more energy that the person will have, this is the stage that I'm talking about. The second stage that I'm going to go into is the Krebs cycle. So for the Krebs cycle, acetyl coenzyme A enters the Krebs cycle, and it is broken down into carbon dioxide and hydrogen. In this cycle, 2 more ATPs are synthesized during this process, and which are used for the fuel for further muscle contractions. Then the hydrogen is transferred into the electron transport chain. Once in the electron transport chain, hydrogen ions from the Krebs cycles are carried through the chain by carrier molecules. The hydrogens are transferred to those molecules and are embedded in the chain, where they go through a series of chemical reactions. Then the hydrogen ions is created. As it moves through the gradient, another form of ATP is created, which is ATPase, phosphorylates ATP to form more ATP. Water is then created by production as hydrogen combines with oxygen. This energy system has the most ATPs because it has 2 in glycolysis, 2 in the Krebs cycle, and it creates 34 in the electron transport chain, which has a total of 38 ATPs. Usually what this energy production system is used for, it is used for interval training because it's so high paced, and then you lower down the energy that you're using. Also for running, it can also be used for running when you're running and then you chill for a second and stop to walk, and then you run a little bit more, stop to walk. Good for jogs, good for low and moderate intensity cycling, swimming, dancing. So this is basically the one system that majority of us use when we're performing activities like sports or things of that sort that require more of the high paced, and then you slow down and high paced, and then you slow down. Football, volleyball, etc. And then this is a quick chart to show you guys the ATPPC and the short term, which is going to be the anaerobic one, and then the aerobic one is the green one. So basically it shows you how the energy production is like spiked up for the ATP PC because it is a quick, get to the point type of run. Then when we go to the anaerobic one, it uses 10 to 60 seconds, and then it'll go to the long-term one, which is the aerobic one, and it'll typically give you 60 to 120 seconds. And lastly, here are the references where I got the information that I just presented. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.